You know that moment when your life falls apart and you just feel completely lost and hopeless? That was totally me. I was searching and grasping for guidance, and then something led me straight into what's called the modern mystery school. I had no idea what I was stepping into, only that my soul was screaming, "Go!" Yeah, kind of, but with less Quidditch and a lot more healing. Hey, wonderful weirdos. Welcome back to Awakened and Weird, where we mix the mystical with the practical. And remember that awakening doesn't always have to look so serious. If you're new here, my name is Tara. I'm your cosmic coach and fellow traveler through the beautifully bizarre journey of consciousness. And of course, this is Luna, my tiny alien baby sidekick. Today, we're diving into something that really changed my life forever. It's my journey with the Modern Mystery School. I'll share what it is, what it taught me, and the parts that were both heartwarming and heartbreaking. Be sure you stay with me until the end, where we'll close out with a beautiful grounding meditation. So, before I found the Modern Mystery School, I was deep in my dark night of the soul. Everything that I thought defined me was just falling apart. My marriage, my faith, my career, and I go into a lot more detail about that part in this video here. So after you watch this, make sure you go check that out for more depth and context around everything. During that time, I felt like I was being stripped down to nothing. And yet, in that void was a tiny whisper to remember who I am. It didn't come from my mind, it came from somewhere ancient, somewhere that I knew was meant to reclaim something sacred. And that is when I found the Modern Mystery School. Now, a little context about the Modern Mystery School, because you know me, I love connecting the dots between the esoteric and the earthly. The Modern Mystery School was founded in 1997 by Gudni Gudnason. He's an Icelandic occult researcher and spiritual teacher. He claims to have trained for decades in ancient mystery traditions around the world, like everything from Kabbalah to Hermeticism to shamanic teachings to the rites of King Solomon. So it's a lot. The school itself presents as a lineage organization, meaning that they see their teachings as part of an unbroken chain of wisdom that's been handed down for over 3,000 years. According to their tradition, this lineage traces back all the way to the house of King Solomon, who is the archetype of divine wisdom and mastery of energy. Today, the organization has centers in Toronto and Tokyo, the UK, and all across the US. The curriculum ranges from energy healings like life activations and aura healing to initiatory ceremonies and metaphysical studies in alchemy, Kabbalah, and sacred geometry. All of those things were so fascinating to me, and I was hooked. um, yeah, and that's part of what makes it so fascinating. It exists at the intersection of deep spiritual lineage and a modern self development culture. So, as I said, I did not go looking for the Modern Mystery School. I feel like it found me. I was watching Gaia TV one night, half crying into my crystal water, when a show about mystery teachings came on. And I heard Dr. Teresa Bullard talking about activations and DNA light codes and ascension work. I didn't really know what those things were, but it lit something up inside of me like a switch. I felt an almost physical force pulling me forwards. So I went online and I Googled the Modern Mystery School, and I found out that there was or still is, a location in Austin about 3.5 hours away from me. And I immediately booked an appointment. When I walked through those doors, let me tell you that I felt such a strong recognition that like I felt like I was home and I was nearly in tears. I met the woman who would go on to become my mentor. She was a light that was so strong and steady. I just immediately trusted her and connected with her. She made me feel seen and understood, and Most importantly, not at all crazy because I totally felt that I was. That first meeting, we actually talked for 2 hours before we even started the healing ritual. And it marked the beginning of a whole new chapter in my spiritual life. The first healing session was intense. I felt waves of emotion come over me and surges of heat like radiated through my spine. After it was over, she let me lie down on a Reiki table that they had, and so that I could acclimate myself before driving all the way back home. She brought me water and really gave me the space to connect with my new energy body. For the first time in years, I felt safe inside my own light. After that, my intuition skyrocketed and had this incredible new sense of clarity. I started feeling energy in a whole new way, almost like I could touch it. I started receiving guidance in my dreams, and I felt my clairsenses starting to come online. It was like the universe was handing me a whole new set of tools, but also felt like a whole new responsibility at the same time. With such powerful results after just one day with my spiritual mentor, it seemed so obvious that I was on the right path, and I was so excited to take the next step. I started down the path of initiation, which included a life activation and the Empower Thyself course. Leave a comment below if you want me to dive deeper into either of those things. A year later, my life was improving on multiple fronts, and I felt a new calling to become a healer. So I enrolled in their Healers Academy program, which is a week-long class that's held at their Toronto location. And when I showed up there, I immediately connected to everyone. And I finally felt what it was like to be surrounded by other high vibe souls that are all here with the same purpose and goals as me. We'd eat all of our meals together because we just wanted to soak in every second of this collective experience. I had a deeply profound and emotional moment on the last day there when the entire class was officially initiated into the lineage of King Solomon. When I walked into the room that was filled with senior leadership, I was just overwhelmed with the feeling of unconditional love. Like no one was saying a word. It was completely silent. And that just made the loving energy that I felt almost feel like tangible. I've never felt such an overwhelming love like that before, and especially not in a room full of strangers. It made me think, is this what heaven feels like? I know it sounds corny, but I legit had that thought. Once the ceremony was over, it shifted to a true celebration where everyone was laughing and hugging and dancing. Dr. Teresa Bullard, the woman who started it all for me through her series on Gaia, she was there, and I gathered up the courage to ask her if we could take a picture together, and she said yes. She was so sweet, so kind, such beautiful energy. It was such a full circle moment for me.
Hey y'all, just taking a quick break here. I wanted to share my little passion project that I do. I love creating these really fun and unique designs and putting them on really high quality merch. So if you're looking for gifts this holiday season, or if you just want to treat yourself, go ahead and click on the link below to shop through the store. There's all kinds of things in there. I've been doing this for over a year, so there's tons of different collections and individual pieces, everything from tote bags and water bottles to t-shirts and hats and candles and everything like that.
So now let's dive a little bit deeper into the actual teachings. Once I got past the surface rituals and workshops, I began to see what the modern mystery school was really pointing towards, which is the inner mystery, the discovery of the divine self within the human experience. Their classes often circled back to three ancient frameworks, which included Hermeticism, Kabbalah, and Alchemy. And each one gave me language for something that my soul already knew, but I could never articulate it. The Hermetic philosophy teaches that all is mind. Everything we see, touch, or feel is first created through consciousness. For me, that just flipped a switch. It meant that I wasn't a victim of circumstance, I was the architect of experience. My thoughts weren't background noise, they were more like blueprints. Exactly. So once you realize that, even the messy parts of your life become sacred experiments in creation. Through the Kabbalah teachings, I learned to view my soul like a living tree. Each sphere, a lesson in balance between mercy and discipline, giving and receiving, human and divine. Walking that tree was like walking through my own nervous system. Every meditation illuminated where I was constricted and where grace could flow again. It taught me that enlightenment isn't about floating away, it's about rooting into matter. Alchemy isn't about turning lead into gold, really. It's really more about transforming dense emotions into wisdom, turning heartbreak into compassion, fear into faith, and self doubt into luminous confidence. Every challenge became a crucible. Each time I emerged a little bit freer. Now, let me be real here. The Modern Mystery School is a powerful path, but it is not for everyone. Some students find it life changing, others struggle with its structure, hierarchy, or spiritual intensity. I learned that true initiation doesn't happen in a classroom, it happens in your kitchen, your car, or in your heart. Anywhere that the divine asks you to live your truth instead of just talking about it. That is the balance between the teacher and the student, the seeker and the sovereign. The school gave me keys, but I had to build the door. So I'm sure you're wondering, are you still with the school? Actually, no, I'm not. And let me tell you why. The first strike, if you will, was actually at the initiation, where I found out that in order to maintain my certification, I would have to return every year to complete a PID, which stood for Professional Integration Day. It's basically a quick review of the life activation protocol so that they know we're not deviating and we're maintaining the lineage teachings properly. I totally understand that, but that PID is not free. It's like paying to take that course over and over again, plus all the other costs that are associated with traveling. I felt like if I only had the budget for one trip each year, I didn't want to keep repeating the same experience. I'd rather go to places like Egypt or Peru or Turkey to connect with ancient sites. That's more my thing. The second strike was when I returned home. I formed a book club with a few of the other people that I met in the class, and the book that we read was written by the top leader of the Modern Mystery School, Dave Lanyon. In the book was a chapter on discernment. So I took the time to really discern for myself if I wanted to continue on the path that was laid out through the Modern Mystery School. I thought back on my entire experience so far and realized that there were moments along the way that didn't actually align with my beliefs or values. For example, they teach that there's no such thing as reincarnation. No matter how much I meditated on it, I just couldn't make that make sense. It didn't resonate as true for me. And if I wanted to rise through the levels within the school and eventually become a teacher or a mentor, I would have to believe that. And I just couldn't. Another instance was how everything felt like a money grab. The book I just mentioned was $50, and they made going to headquarters to shop in the store practically mandatory while we were there. Not to mention how all the classes were so expensive and some were prerequisites, and you couldn't take what you actually wanted to take without taking the prerequisites, which I guess is kind of like a normal college, but I'm not a huge fan of those either. It just feels like they care more about huge profits than actually helping humanity to ascend into 5D. The final strike was a YouTube video that I saw. This was like 3 years ago, so I can't remember much about it. Otherwise, I would totally link it below. but the basic premise of the video was how it was seen as a cult and all of the horrible stories from the other students that were just absolutely shocking to me. Although I had never had any of those experiences that they mentioned, I could easily see how what they were saying could be true. Of course, the school isn't for everyone. Nothing is for everyone. But in my mind, if the whole point of the school is to be a moral, ethical, and spiritual guide for us, they were failing horribly. It's with that final realization that I made a conscious decision to distance myself. Now, I want to be clear that my personal experience with the school was generally positive. I mean, they did play a huge role in my awakening, healing, and ascending journey. But I felt like it's not resonating with me anymore and that my path would take a different, more sovereign route. Ironically, the very book that was meant to hook me in deeper actually repelled me from the school. It made me realize that there are elements of a religion built into their structure, specifically in regards to answers being found outside of myself, which is one of the primary reasons I don't subscribe to any religion. I left with gratitude and love, and I wish everyone who's still with the school all the best. I learned so much about myself and gained tremendous wisdom that I still use and build upon to this day. I know we're all navigating our human experience the best ways that we can, and for that reason, I harbor no ill will towards the school or anyone who is still there. Luna's weird word of the week is initiation. In mystical terms, initiation means a beginning, a conscious agreement to evolve. It's the moment when you say, okay, universe, I'm ready to stop pretending that I'm small. But here's the twist. Initiation does not come only from ceremonies or masters. It can come through heartbreak, loss, a midnight breakdown, or even a quiet afternoon where you finally forgive yourself. Each one cracks you open so that more light can live where fear used to be. So every plot twist is like a portal, every single one. If you're watching this and wondering, am I in my own initiation right now? Here's a simple ritual to find out. Go ahead and close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Think about the area of your life that feels the hardest right now. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what version of me is this moment trying to create? Let me say that again. What version of me is this moment trying to create? Now, notice what you feel in your body. Are there any tingles? Do you feel warmth or pressure? Whatever you're feeling, that's your higher self responding. All right, let's end with a short grounding meditation to anchor this energy in. I assume you're already sitting comfortably. If you're not, go ahead and get comfortable and take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Visualize a golden thread extending from the top of your head. It's connecting you to your divine light. Now see another thread descending from your spine, deep into the heart of Mother Gaia. Between those two currents, heaven and earth, you exist as the bridge. Breathe into that center, feeling your heartbeat syncing with the rhythm of the planet. Say silently, I am my own teacher. I am my own initiation. I walk in light, rooted in love. Take one last deep breath and return to the room, and open your eyes when you feel ready. Thank you so much for being here, for listening, and for honoring your own initiations, the sacred and the strange. If you'd like deeper support, you can work with me through my 6-week spiritual coaching program. The link is in the description down below. If my story resonated, hit that like button and subscribe for more mystical adventures, and make sure you share this with someone who is walking their own awakening path. Until next time, my fellow initiates, stay radiant, stay grounded, and of course, stay weird.